This is Athena, who is a goddess of wisdom and also war. And she's an amazing, amazing core part of Greek philosophy. Now, her name may originate as a name older than even Greek language itself, but it's still tied to the city of Athens. She's all about strategic warfare, wisdom, civic order. This is important for her, which is governance and all those things, as well as skilled craftsmanship. We know her symbol, right? We know her symbol from Clash of the Titans. It's the owl, right? Let me see if I can find this one. Wow, that was really, really weird. I guess we maintained it, but that was a glitch in the Matrix right there. Let's see, 1981, Titans, the owl. Now, this is interesting because this is coming out of real mythology. Remember, Zeus orders. All right, guys, that was a little rough there. So I'm gonna stop trying to breathe. I'm just gonna try to get to the just want to give you guys a smooth podcast. We'll see if it catches up and kind of soothes me out here because I hit that to start all over again. Wow, I really okay, guys. I'm gonna try to get through it. Obviously, I was locked up. Hopefully, you're still here with me. We'll see, right? We'll see if we can get through it. So this is Athena. I tried to bring some extra images, and I see that kind of killed it. So I'm gonna stop doing that and see if the stream gods let me get through without it. Okay. So Athena, we know, was strategic warfare, wisdom. She is the armored goddess wearing the horn and the breastplate. This shield here is a little different shield than what we've seen her with, because a lot of times she has a shield of Aegeus, which is a very powerful shield with Medusa's head on it. And yes, it has the ability to turn you into stone, just as well as Medusa's face. She carries a shield like her outfit is 100% what the Greeks would have worn in the battle. She is hovering that, bearing that shield. That was the shield and the spear. That was a major part of what was going on in their military. She's always shown with the owl, which was the depiction I wanted to show you. And this is important because she never changes that. That owl remains very important. And we show that representation of her. That owl was always so important for her. And we have to recognize that, right? I don't know why you keep shutting me out. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But so she has always been the symbol, and she's classic to Greek mythology because she literally was born from Zeus's noodle, right? She came out of his dome, and that represented the the wisdom part. Now there's an interesting part. I'm going to see if I can pull this out of here without this disrupting, because both Athena and Montu have associations with the owl. I just realized that Montu is heavily associated with the owl himself, unless I'm missing something. And of course, she's always associated with the owl as well. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can pull up some information that talks about that owl. Okay. Let's see what it has here. Okay. Because the only one I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Athena was owl, Montu wasn't as much. So I was a little bit wrong in that. I thought there was association with Montu and the owl, just because I know that the owl, Montu's sacred animal again was a bull. So I was off. I was wrong in making that correction, and that's actually correct. So Montu did not have, but that was where she was, and she was always shown with her owl. And we remember, the owl from Clash of the Titans. That was her pet, which was again another story. It's about Hephaestus making owl. He was making automations way back then. Like the owl itself was. Let me see. I hope this doesn't crash me here. Let's see if I can find it. So this is the owl from Clash of the Titans. And the significant thing that we learned about this was early on. We were understanding how important the owl was to Athena, but this was the first. Like this wasn't the first robot or intelligence that we would see Hephaestus build, because we go back to Jason and the Argonauts, and he built whatever the protector of that island was. So we got two things out of this image of the owl, this persona of the owl, how important it was to Athena, and then what Hephaestus actually could do. So that was an important part of the iconography. She contrasts with Ares because Ares is chaos and lustful, where she is calculated victory. So she's very different than them. She's also a guardian of civilization. So she's not just about war, but she protects cities, she protects laws, she protects political order. So she is the order of the polis, P-O-L-I-S, which is the state or city rather than the destroyer. She's also a patron of skill and craft. So she wasn't just limited to warfare. She was into things that would cultivate a civilization on a lot of levels, right? So these included like metalworking, shipbuilding, weaving was something she was strong at, engineering. So her dominance included the technological side of warfare, and she embodied like advancing civilization through intelligence and skill. That's what she was all about. She obviously goes back to the earliest periods. Her primary cult was Athens, the city that was named for her. There is a whole mythology about her going up against Poseidon to see who the city would be dedicated to. She beat him because she gave the city the olive branch, or the olive tree, which obviously the olive branch would be very significant. Like Greek olive oil would be a staple for their food stock, the olive itself. So very important, which is why they designated the city after her. I have no idea what it was called early before that, but she was associated with the early Mycenaean period. Then the classic Greek period, she becomes a central deity of Athens by that time. She is a major part of her major temple was the Parthenon, which was built in the 5th century BCE, and she becomes associated with democracy, civic pride, and military defense. By the Hellenistic and Roman period, she's spread all the way throughout the Mediterranean, and the Romans would identify her with Minerva. So that would be her other name in the Roman culture. Now, she was worshipped heavily, primarily through civic rituals. So rituals that celebrated the city, these were things where they were almost always dedicated to her as well. These things included athletic competitions, which we know she loved, music performances. There were sacrifices there, like animals, at least. We don't know humans, but we do know animal sacrifices, and there are ceremonial processions. So the temple worship is famous because the offerings at the Athena statue were more like olive leaves, textiles, weapons, or dedications after victory. Warriors dedicated to her. Captured armor from other enemies. So if you went to war, you captured other enemy implements, armor, helms, things like that. Those things were dedicated to Athena as well. And what she represented in the whole system was that wisdom always wins, that strategy always works out over, strategy and wisdom should govern the power, and that the victory should be determined by intelligence and not strictly brute force, and civilization depends on this discipline. So the Greeks saw like order and rational thinking as essential for maintaining its society, and war was just justified while defending law and culture, and she represents that righteous strategy. In the myth, of course, we know the birth of Athena, where she's born from the head of Zeus. That's her biggest myth, that Zeus had swallowed the goddess Metis. This is an ill part. This is kind of some crazy Zeus stuff here as well. He gets her mom's pregnant. There's no plan B during this period of time other than pushing you off a building or swallowing you, which is what Zeus did. He swallowed her mother whole, and she emerged from Zeus's skull as a fully grown adult in armor. So this symbolizes wisdom emerging from this divine intelligence. And she may assist other heroes. Like throughout myths, she's connected to a lot of other heroes, like Odysseus. You guys remember that? She was helping Odysseus, guide him through the Trojan War and his long journey home. She helped Perseus in his defeat of Medusa. She helped Hercules during, helping on his 12 labors. So she also defeats Poseidon. So she's known in the streets. She's big in the streets. And what she represents for Greek culture is, again, intelligence, civic identity, disciplined warfare, and skill through craftsmanship, because the Greeks always saw themselves as a thinking civilization. They were all about philosophy and thought and artwork, and they allowed those things to define them while at the same time going to war all the time. But clearly they were conflicted. Some people were like, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. So if you guys know that reference there, you're in the right place. So psychologically, what this meant is that if you messed with Athena, you had a respect for intelligence, that you valued cleverness. And we see it like the story of Odysseus. That was all about somebody being clever. That's what his whole thing was. Dealing with all these monsters in the Greek culture, but I stayed grounded in just like being clever, and that's how I survived. So that's what they meant. This was a respect for intelligence. These were people who had civic pride in Athens, in the Greek civilization, and wanted to make sure that they had all the laws and rules to protect the delicate parts, the artwork, the scholarship, all those things. War was also not glorified. It was strategic. It had to be justified righteously. It had to be disciplined. And historically, we see a huge rise from there. Now, what's been best for Athena right now is Percy Jackson, right? You have her daughter is in the film. I think Annabeth is her daughter. You see, like, she kind of represents all that fighting style and all. So she's 100% locked in. And then, of course, the Clash of the Titans was her biggest push. So I'm sure she's in some of the games as well. She's in God of War, which I thought. She's in Assassin's Creed, another great game for mythology, and also the game Hades. Throughout comic books, she's also in DC Comics and Marvel Comics, and she's always the same, the ultimate strategist and the ultimate warrior. So this is the representation from Greek culture around this deity. And a lucky, fortunate deity that we do have, that we've been lucky enough to witness Athena. Now this gentleman here, this is all the way from the east. This is